On the south coast of Massachusetts, there are thousands of stories. One man, Joe Thomas, is responsible for sharing and preserving those stories, and you are about to meet this great historian next. Joe, welcome to the program. It is so awesome to speak with somebody with your background.
Thank you.
How did you and Spinner meet?
Well, that's a question I've been asked a few times. You know, it's already been over 40 years. We've been doing this for 42 years now.
Goes fast.
And, I was out of college. I was a little older when I graduated. I was in my late 20s, and I needed a job, basically. And I was doing freelance photography for some of the newspapers in Boston and New Bedford. Right. And I became more interested in documentary work and doing, a little filming, but mostly still photography.
For any reason? I mean, that's
I just enjoyed it. I just like it. I was doing it for the Boston papers, and but I didn't like. I was doing a lot of political stuff, photographing all these races, the state and national elections, and I really became very bored and almost
it wasn't
developed
your
an
thing.
animosity towards the whole trade, really, towards that type of work.
Yeah.
And I knew I needed to change. I had to do something. I did not want to do that. And so I was in a bar down on Purchase Street.
We have something in common, how we started out
I know. And I ran into Mike Sullivan, an old friend, and I was telling him about the work I was doing. And he says, I'm taking a course at UMass, or it was SMU at the time. He says, with this woman, Donna Hughes, and it's called cultural reporting, and we're doing all these stories about life in the area and neighborhoods and industry and so on.
I remember Donna.
Remember Donna? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Donna's an unbelievable person.
Absolutely.
Well, it turns out she became a great friend of mine, but at that time I didn't know who she was. And
did you start Spinner to do just that, to
with her,
preserve photographs and preserve culture and things of that nature?
I wanted to do this form of documentary journalism, if you will. And
how has it turned out?
Well, it's been, I've made a life out of it, It's turned out well enough for me to, have a nice house and go on vacations, I guess.
Yeah, but they
say publish books.
If you do something that you love, it's not like you're working a day in your life.
Well, that's true. And I really enjoyed it. And for the most part, over these last 40 years, it's been a struggle. The work I do is not that lucrative, and so, but I stuck with it. My wife worked all these years. The two of us worked, and I had side jobs as well. So it's been a lot of work. I don't want to make it sound like I had it easy, because doing publishing in this area is not easy, because it's not a profession where it doesn't engage a lot of the local population. People don't buy books. People don't read history and watch history.
Talk to me about
locally.
Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so I almost had to create a market, really. We had to. So when we came up, so I skipped the whole sector here, but when I did finally go to the class and get familiar with Donna, and she was going around doing these interviews. Her interest was oral history and stories. She was a sociologist, and so we basically matched her profession and her knowledge. And by the way, she was a brilliant professor and writer and interviewer and sociologist. She's just a brilliant human being, and we matched up that with my work, my photographic work, and my knowledge of the city, and what I wanted to do in terms of storytelling.
More of this amazing discussion in a minute. But first, please like, follow, and share The Phil Show now. Thank you so much. Let me thank the good folks at iGreen Landscape, your one-stop solution for your residential and commercial property management. Whether it's snowing or whether you're mowing, let Team iGreen handle your landscape and hardscape year-round. From spring cleanups to commercial snow management, I recommend the good folks at iGreen Landscape. Call for your complimentary consultation today. What has Spinner Publications done in regard to that storytelling? Have you achieved your goal? Has it been worthwhile? Do you still have something left to do in order to make it?
Yeah, I'll never complete my goal. I'll never complete what there is to do. There's so much to do. And
what have you done then?
Not much.
Not much? Look at this. What are you talking about? Look at this.
I've done a lot of complimentary work.
How many photographs? How many photographs do you have at Spinner? Look at that.
Well, we've compiled over the years a collection of, we estimate about 1.5 million to 2 million.
And you haven't done anything. I see.
Well, that might be the greatest accomplishment of what I've done, is build this along with my staff, Jay Ambler in particular, and Sue Grace.
Yes.
We've built an archive of photographs and manuscripts and paraphernalia and historical objects about New Bedford over the last 20, 30 years, 40 years, if you want to go back to the beginning. Mm-hmm. And that's an important archive.
Sure it is.
The negatives that we have, the film is tremendous. It's just very important to me, but I think it will prove important to researchers, historians, writers over the next many decades.
Joe Thomas, talk about this for a second. Let me see if I can.
The book you're holding up, Phil,
right there,
is Volume 2 of the History of New Bedford. By the way, we're working on Volume 3. I hope to get that out
This
soon.
is such a great book.
Yeah, Volume 2 and Volume 1 were very successful, and Volume 1 we're sold out of. Volume 2, we still have a few left.
Makes a nice holiday gift.
It's a great gift, and especially Volume 2, in my mind, is most interesting because it really includes those years that all of us can remember. Many of us can still remember.
That's
right. It begins in 1920s, I believe, and it goes into 1960.
Yeah.
And it just highlights everything that's happened here, and it's very nostalgic in some ways, but it's so informative and very proud, instills, I think, a lot of pride, because when you look and reflect on the history of the community, it's a remarkable community.
In what way?
Oh, just all of the things that we did together as social groups, as, you can pick during the war years, all the things like the collecting of metal scrap to fuel the war, of paper, and you read about these kinds of things, the things we did to build an economy, all the industry, the manufacturing that was done here. And it was so spectacular, so high quality. It's a tribute to all of the people of the community.
More of this amazing discussion in a minute, but first, please like, follow, and share The Phil Show now. If you're ready to finally make your biggest dreams a reality, let my friend Jared Methia at Milestone Mortgage Solutions get you your next mortgage or your next home loan. Jared is a trusted local loan officer who works with some of the most reputable companies. Jared reminds me if you're a first-time home buyer or maybe you're looking to refinance. He says, go to him. And I too recommend Jared Methia, providing you with a stress-free experience. Call Jared today for a competitive rate, for quick approvals, and for one-of-a-kind personalized service. That's Jared Methia at Milestone Mortgage Solutions. You can now watch The Phil Show whenever you'd like. Like, follow, and share The Phil Show now. And catch us wherever you catch your favorite podcasts. Like, follow, and please share The Phil Show now with a friend. The Phil Show now. When you look back on your career as the publisher, what are you most proud of?
Well, I think that's just that, Phil. Being able to purvey stories of life is all I really ever wanted to do. And I think having been able to do it with marginal success, I think has been very gratifying. As you get older, you realize that you're not going to be able to do it for forever, obviously. But so that, I think when I'm able to reflect on it and say, well, I did something, I was able to document these events and these people and these stories. Mm-hmm. And I'm proud of that.
Absolutely. With all of your years and stories, pick out one that has certain significant meaning to you. One of the many, many stories that have come through the door of Spinner Publications.
Oh, boy. There's a few. I enjoyed way back in 80, I guess we started 83, 81, 83, around that year. In volume 2 of Spinner, we did some interviews with the last living whalemen. Mm-hmm. That was a tremendous experience to listen to their stories.
What did they say?
Well, the two of them were Cape Verdean men. One was an old Portuguese guy. But they told the story of coming to America, the story of a child stowing away aboard a whaling ship, going whaling, thinking they were going to make some money, but really interested in coming to America. These stories we're everywhere amongst a lot of the immigrant whalers. They came to America. They went whaling to get passage to America. They didn't go whaling because they liked to go whaling.
Interesting.
But I remember Joe Ramos saying in his heavy Cape Verdean accent, he said, I like the whaling, I like the whale. He says, but how can you live like that? How can you live like that?
Tough life.
How can you live he went to sea for a year and a half and he made like $60. They took most of his wages to pay for the clothes and things that he took from the slop chest. And he ended up with almost nothing. He says, and the first time he came in, the captain the boat was in quarantine, and he said, the captain said, you got to go back out again or you can't go ashore. And he said, the captain tricked me. He says, he told me I had to go whaling again. And he went on the Wanderer, went back out on the Wanderer for another year. Mm-hmm. And he came back again after another year whaling. He said, and the captain again told him, he says, the captain said, I got to go on another whaling voyage. I can't get off the boat. I can't. I'm not allowed to come to America. Well, by that time, his father had already come to America.
Oh, my goodness.
And his father was on shore waiting for him.
Wow.
His father rows out to the boat, and he says, get off that boat. He tells the captain, everybody, get that kid off the boat. And he got off the boat. His father had to go and rescue him.
That's
on the boat.
amazing.
He said he went to the cranberry bogs. He worked 2 months on the cranberry bogs, made more money than he made in a year and a half or 2 years whaling.
More of this amazing discussion in a minute. But first, please like, follow, and share The Phil Show now. Thank you so much.
Carefree Homes is an award-winning home improvement company. It's been family-owned and operated since 1978. For over 46 years of business and thousands of satisfied customers, this company is A+ rated. It's an accredited member of the Better Business Bureau. And listen to this, no payments until the project is completed. How's that? Financing options are available for roofing, siding, windows, doors, decks, you name it. CarefreeHomesCompany.com. Call for a free quote. 508-997-1111. Carefree Homes Company.
What are some of the reasons for folks to go to Spinner? I know you have a catalog and all sorts of wonderful books and calendars.
Yeah, we've got a lot of stuff. But the books, a lot of the early books are out of print, Phil, but we've put up a lot of the stories on another website. We have a link to a blog site. It's called NewBedfordHistory.com, where we have a lot of those early interviews. Mm-hmm. And some of them you can even hear the tapes, but not the Whalers.
You have done such a magnificent job in linking our local history and telling the stories we never would have heard before had it not been for you, Joe, and for all the others there, Jay and Sue, Spinner Publications. That said, how would you like to be remembered?
I don't know. Just for what I did, that's all. Nothing special. It's just someone who left these books to people to read and enjoy and learn. I didn't do anything that special. Not interested in being remembered as a person. I mean, we're all going to be remembered as people by the people we love, and that's important. But in terms of what we do, what we can leave behind, I guess, is what you're talking about. Maybe that distinguishes one from another. But that's all. It's just if I can leave anything behind, it would be that the books have some relevance. They continue to have relevance and help somebody. I'd like to see what we do continue.
Mm-hmm.
And the books we've done maybe might help that.
Absolutely.
That's not a big deal.
What a great job you've done, Joe.
But I didn't finish the story, Phil.
Which one?
Of my grandmother.
Oh, forgive me.
No, it's just a little bit at the end. But so after they spun a yarn and they made a thread, and then at some time over a period of a month or so, 6 weeks or so, a merchant would come into the village and trade for the thread a piece of fabric, and from that fabric that's what they use to make their clothing. So they would trade thread for a piece of fabric for use for clothing. The whole society was built on this trade.
Yes.
It was built on this common exchange of craft, and that was a great interview for me to do because I learned so much also about myself and my heritage.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yes. Thank you. And all of the effort that you've put into sharing the stories of our area with everyone here on the South Coast. Joe, you are a gift above gifts. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. My pleasure.